Alright guys, so earlier this week I posted a video and I said that I was working on a swing arm with a backpack blower as opposed to the handheld that I've been offering. I was hesitant to do the backpack blower because I was afraid it was a little too heavy and you know, might make the ramp sag or you know, bend a little bit. Really the biggest issue is when you open the swing arm and it's, you know, kind of hanging out here somewhere, it tends to lift up on this corner of the ramp away from the truck. So recently I've been suggesting to people that they either add some kind of their own support that attaches it to the truck for themselves, or use some ratchet straps, you know, that allows them to pull it closer to the truck and to take some of the support for the swing arm itself. But I'm going to put the equipment on there and open the arm and kind of show you what I'm talking about as far as the flex is concerned. Before I do that though, I'm going to just talk about the change in the swing arm and what I did to incorporate the backpack blower. The handheld blower goes here, or used to go here, you know, and the tube would go that way. And but I would have the two tier racks. There'd be one here at the top and then like 14 inches lower on the other one, and then the handheld blower would be down here. For the backpack blower, I had a few options. One was to keep it like that, one tier here, another tier here, and then the backpack blower lower down, or to center it in the middle and separate the tiers farther apart. I opted for separating the tiers farther apart for a couple different reasons. The first thing is that the backpack blower tends to be a more expensive piece of equipment than a trimmer or an edger. Obviously that depends on you know, what you have and you know, how much you paid for it. But for me personally, the backpack blower costs more than my edger and my trimmer together. So I was thinking just in terms of if the blower was too far down here, that, you know, if you got rear-ended or you backed into something, you might mess up your blower. And you know, if you have to sacrifice a piece of equipment, it'd be better to do it for a cheaper one. So that was one part of it. The other part of it was that it didn't look good. It kind of looked like the blower was on there as an afterthought. So I'm going to put the equipment on there, open the arm, and then take the equipment back off. And then I'll show you, you know, the blower rack a little bit closer, and how I came, not necessarily how I came up with the design, but what I came up with and what I might do differently in the future. So it's pretty sturdy now. Definitely got to have those straps though. What I was talking about is if you know, with all the weight hanging off the corner here, it tends to pick up on that other end of the ramp, and I just didn't like how it looked and how it felt to me. So I was saying no on the backpack blower thing and just kind of offering a handheld blower. Overall, it doesn't weigh that much more, but you know, every pound counts. So you know, that's what it looks like. And you'll see when I close it that it does sag a little bit. You do have to pick, once the equipment is there, you do kind of have to pick up on it a little bit. Now you can adjust that out, you know, anticipating the weight that's on it, and you'll just have to push it down, you know, if there's no weight on it. But you know, all in all, it's not very difficult. It's going to sag over time. There's nothing you can really do about that. You know, the bolts will wear in and you know, that kind of stuff. But that's why the latch is still adjustable, so that you can kind of do what needs to be done on that. I did decide to weld these pieces in place. Typically they were bolted in place, but I don't like how they kind of pull this way, and also this kind of pivots when you open the thing all the way. People who have bought the swing arms from me probably can attest to that. That's the one thing that I never really liked about it. So that's, if you're buying the ramp and the swing arm, from now on I'm going to weld on that arm. And then this way, if you decide you don't like the whole swing arm, you can at least, you know, you can take these bolts out here and, you know, take off this whole section here, and then you'll just have this. You know, and the swing arm will be off, and you know, you won't have to use it if you don't want to. There's some people that are buying the swing arms initially because they're not very expensive, and then they plan later to do the bed rail system, which I've decided to abandon. You know, it's already there. There's no sense in me reinventing the wheel. You know, the stake pocket thing is something that I've been working on, but it's, you know, I haven't really had any time to mess with it. So that's, you know, that'll be a if I get to it, when I get to it thing. But anyway, I'm going to take the equipment off, and then I'll talk about the blower rack. Also, the other thing I did was I've made this latch system a little bit different. It was just open and close, but that enclosed trailer that I did those racks on, he came back a couple days later, and he was having issues with the way that they sat on there, because he put them on differently than I put them on, and that's, you know, kind of a thing, I guess. So what he came up with, and I decided to incorporate it in this one, is I moved up one of the hinge points, so that in the event that, you know, you end up with your handle, the fat part of your handle here, you can lift up on this, put the thing in there, and then turn it over and drop it back down. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility. So that was the change that I did as far as the tiers are concerned. And again, obviously I separated them so that they're farther apart. The backpack blower is adjustable. The rack, I'm sorry. I'm hoping that this will fit for most. The guy has a 755. This will certainly work for that. It does work for mine, so I'm hoping that it will work for most of them. But these two bolts will adjust it up and down, but this plate will keep it from sliding all the way off, so that even if this is locked, they could loosen up all the bolts and they still won't be able to get the blower off. But again, these are passive locks at best anyway, so, you know. Same with these here and these here. On the next iterations, these will be Allen heads that'll be recessed inside to get rid of the head issue for clearance here. And the same here, it'll just look a little cleaner. And then also on this one here, this is adjustable up and down to try to put your arm where you may want it. But other than that, that's about it. And I've tried to do this video 100 times, so if I repeat myself, I'm sorry. But one of the things that maybe you guys can help me with is the way that these blowers, most of them look, I guess, or it seems anyway, is that there's a hole here, and there's usually this section here that's kind of like a lip. So, obviously the base will sit flat, but then there's also that opening there. So the idea is that this will be adjustable enough to fit inside of that and grab it, because if this needs to come out far enough to get to the back of that, this is too short. And the reason why that's the case is because if you lift up on this piece here, this piece of equipment to take it out, you'll hit this bar if it's any longer. So I'm kind of hoping that most backpack blowers have that recess in the back. I guess all else fails that you could just, leave that part off and just use the part that makes it hang. But I'm kind of hoping that this is as universal, or at least universal enough for most pieces of equipment. So anyway, all right, well, that's it. I don't know what else to talk about because I don't know what else I've already talked about. So